freedom day today, so I thought it's only right that I perform a cover of Bob Marley's Redemption song. Kindly waiting on the technical difficulties, apologies. Microphone check 1, 2. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's quickly try this beautiful song out. If you know the song, I'm gonna need you to sing along with me. All right. Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. So won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs. I have redemption songs, yeah. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it, and we've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have second verse one more time. Second verse. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? 'Cause some say it's just a part of it, and we've got to fulfill the book. And won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs. I said all I ever have, redemption songs. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Can we give him a round of applause? Now, before I call upon the next speaker, before Rebitsa Kachela, Khojako SABC, as I'm sitting here and we're brainstorming, which is what we often do with Mr. Tony Koroge, I'm looking at what Kobus is providing, and thank you. I'm looking at what you're providing, Kobus, and you and your team. I'm looking at what the TeamzDynamics are providing as well. So we happen to run a 5-star hotel in Bloem, Loch Logan Hotel, and 79% of our guests are either national or international businesses. So I'm just throwing it out there that we have some type of a partnership with you. Not least that 2 of the cars of the owners and some of our partners, they also drive Mercedes-Benz. We could explore the opportunity of having a partnership. We have judges at least every 4th or 5th week of every month. We have executives from Johannesburg and from Cape Town at our hotel. We also have Tony, an acclaimed international actor and film director. So something for you to ponder on, Kobus, and we can pilot it by you giving me the Mercedes-Benz tonight. See how this works out. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, let me call upon Mayor, is it Kachela? Is Kachela here? If you're Kachela, raise your hand. Now I have my foot in my mouth. It's a gentleman. For some reason I thought it's a lady. Please ascend the stage, Kachela. You are not from SABC, my bad. Please come through. Or you prefer to? From there. All right. Can you please give them a round of applause as they ascend the stage?
1, 2. I can hear the sounds. I can sense the joy. People are screaming, dancing, jumping, and others are singing. A giant of a family is born. Ikawe lizelwe sarubaruba sebata tsa phasa dinyamatsana setšhabang kutlweng ke a hoa ke hopotsa molomo ditaba ke a bua ntumeleng kamoheleng ke le phetheleng tsa ena khoku ditaba buka diphetlwe tsa ena khalala Masetlabo mothibedi moetapele ke etapele weteletse pele bana bacha basadi banna maqheku le maqhekwana. It was just yesterday you woke up feeling on top of the world. Inhliziyo yakho ibigcwele uthando noxolo kodwa ngoku izinto zichinchile. You feel like the world is on top of you. You are tossing and turning trying to get some sleep. Tears fill your eyes. You start to weep. Black is excellent. Excellent is black. Wow, look now. You are a living testimony. You are the taste that stood the test of time. Motsamai watsela ke motsibi wa yona. Bohloko ba sieta butlwa ke monga sona. When I say black, can all of you say excellent? Black, black, black. Tsitsipela masetlabo mothithibedi. Tsitsipela masapo phila o sa phili riabo. Once more time, can we all say black is excellent? Black is, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for this legend of ours, Mema Mutibedi Setlab. Thank you so much.
Bontate le bomme ke a le dumedisa. Ntate Mofokeng o nqholoditse a bua ka bohwebi, a bua ka kgwebo. Jwale ke batla pele ke qala ditaba ke bontshe ya ka kgwebo ke dipabitse ke tshwere le khaba ya ratang ho dilatswa o tla dilatswa ke di siam. Yana ya re makgomohadi a hwaramane santa tsa bohloko Sothong le ka pele matsieng lapeng ha ntate Mohato ha hlaha nkgonwa Basotho ha hlaha Mema Mohato a re ho rona basadi re ke re itekele re ke re ithehe ana abokako mabitso ka lenama ka tlola pele ho basadi ka re nna morena khale ke itheile ke le kako le haisa makako ke le kako la motho ke ga nthokoleng ke wa se mothokole ke thokola pele ha ke thokole ka ntwa le nkutlwe Matebele ke thokola ka khotso khaitsedi ya moshweshwe ke fuwe mosebetsi ke mosetsana wa Black Excellence ho thwe ke re filwe o re a ko tlo bolella batho hore na Basotho ba tswa kae. Ntate Mofokeng ka nnete hore bohwebi le kgwebo ya rona bana ba mua Selokwe hore e tle e atlehe e phele mobung o tlokoselang ke hore ho be le botsitso bathong ho be le botsitso setjhabeng ho se be dipolayano tsena tsa batho ho se be ntho tsena tse ka Senyesemane ba reng serial killers re se bone hape ho nkwa ka mahahapa hwa dithepa le ditjhelete tsa batho matsatsing ana taba tseo di sebile di etswa ka maranga. Ntate hore taba tseo di tle di nolofalle batho ke lakatsa pele ke bue ka hore na re le Basotho re tswa kae? Re tswa Ntswanatsatsi. Ntswanatsatsi e emere mantswe a mabedi, e emere lentswane, e emere letsatsi. Hobaneng Ntswanatsatsi re tswang? Hobane ka tumelo Mosotho o bone mohlwaela wa motho a hlaha a bituwa letsheng, letsha le dikadikeditsweng ke lehlaka. Ha Mosotho a go sa lebeletse ka tumelo, mohlwaela wa fetoha mobedi. Ke ka hoo Mosotho a reng motho wa pele o hlaile letsheng, o hlaile letsheng la Ntswanatsatsi, mme motho eo ke mopedi hobane o mobedi, ke mopedi moholo wa ga se aparalome. Ha ke a ikapesa, ke apesitswe ke batho ka bomo, ke apesitswe ke bomo hokong le tlake. Ntswanatsatsi ke habo letsatsi, ke mo letsatsi le bituhang teng, le tjhabang teng. Ha le tjhaba le fa motho bophelo, ha le tjhaba le ilo sunya nko mobung bophirimatsatsi, empa le siile bophelo, le siile le bone hobane le file kgwedi le bone. Jwale ke tla tabeng yane e kgolo eo ke reng ka nnete re le setjhaba ha hona moo re tla ya, mohlomphehi motsamaisi wa mosebetsi. Ha hona moo re tla ya haeba re itebetse re le setjhaba, haeba re itebetse re le maAfrika. Ke kopa hore batho ba ke ba mphe dipelo, ba ske ba mpha ba mphe dipelo, ba be ba mphe le kelello, hobane ha o mpha pelo fela ka moso o tla ntebala. Ke batla o mphe le kelello, o tle o tsebe ho nkutlwisisa. Mosotho o re ngwana ha hlaha wa ananela. Ntwa pele yeo Mosotho a sa etseng, empa yeo re etsang mohlomphehi motsamaisi wa mosebetsi wa kajeno, ke hore monna a seke a kena moo mosadi a pepang. Empa hona jwale taba eo ya etswa, ke se otswa badimong, ke se otswa badimong. Ha ngwana a hlaile, mohlomong a hlaha apere ntho eo Basotho ba reng ke lesira. Ntho eo e a anehwa, e silwe, e be kgwetsa ya lesea le. Mme ha ngwana eo a kena mohatong ofe kapa ofe, e ba wa medisa, o etsang, ha nyalwa, ha a pepa, kore ntho mehato yohle kaofela lesira leo la hae. Empa ha se bohle ba hlahang ka lesira, hoba lesira ke neho. Lesea la Mosotho ha le hlaile, ha le fuwe lebitso pele le bolla. Empa hona jwale re etsa jwalo motsamaisi wa mosebetsi, se otswa se seng. o lokela hore mohla bolotse e be le hona mohla qhekwana le ka nna le tla sika lesea lena e be le a le beola ha a ntse a le beola le haeba hotho o tseba ho kuta jwang kapa jwang hona le moatla mo bata re ho mo bata hobane o tla ba tswa madi jwale ho etsa ho re ho lesea lena tia o tie o hole o tie dieteng tsa baholo ba hao o lwanele tseo e leng tsa hao o itshireletse ke ho beolwa ho wa lesea ha qeta o fuwa lebitso o fuwa dijo hape ka molao ha na o fuwa nesta mo pele ntatae a mo fa dijo ha na ho fuwa eng kapa eng pele ntatae a mo fa nama haeba ntho eo e a etsahala ntate motsamaisi ke a o hlapanyetsa e eketsa seotswa re behella bana pula ebile re a ba jwetsa hore re behella bana pula hobane ngwana enwa ha re batle ha hodile jwale a tle a utswetsa batho jwale a tle a etse nthwena e ho thweng ke armed robbery ha re batle ngwana enwa ha tla inkela tsa batho a re ke nka kobo sefateng ha hlobodisa monga kobo ho bohlokwa ba e bang ha ba so bile bana ke kopa le tle le nkgopole ka moso hore ngwana o lokela hape ho kuruetswa a bontshwa kgwedi wa tseba kgwedi e fupere tsohle tse ho motho kgwedi ha o qetela iyane e qetelang ka nqane e o bontsha hore kgweding hona le madi kgweding hona le peo ena eo banna ba tla re ke mmane mmala wa kgwedi o jwalo motho ha a bontsha ngwana kgwedi o molaya ebile o etsetswa ntho e ka moketjana ho bitswa bana ba motse ba tlotla ba etsisa mesebetsi e teng hore ngwana ha se a le moholo a tle a ikgethele ho bohlokwa haeba bana ba hlaha e le masea ka ha ka mohlolo le leng le ka thobo lena le setseng le tla tshwanela le kengwe ka lekaseng le be le o kengwa ka lebitleng ho qoba taba e jwalo ho bohlokwa hore bana ba o re ba sa tswa hlaha ba arolwe hona le ngwana a tla hlaha e le seqoma ho bohlokwa hore malomai a mo tlose seqoma ntate motsamaisi re bona mahlomola matsatsing ana o utlwa so thwe he se bonwa ke bohle setopo ke sena se fumanwa ka mona ha go tsebwa se bolailwe ba habo thabo beste ba bangata hampe ba ntse ba ipatile ka hara setjhaba hobane ha ba ka ba etsetswa dintho tsena re ho setjhaba se kwele ha re etsentse ntle tseo ha bana ba hodisitswe ka boleng le setso sa habo bona ba kekeng ba hohelwa ha bonolo hore ba tsubenya ope kapa ba je dithethefatsi tsa mofuta ofe kapa ofe. Ho bonolo ho ngwana hore a itwanele ka bohlale ba hae ba kelello, a itwanele ka ho iphatela ka matsoho a hae hobane o lomotswe. Ha re ka ra kgutlela moo fela ntate Mofokeng, ke a o hlapanyetsa bohwebi bo tla ba le kgotso, batho ba tla sebetsa hantle, batho ba tla tseba hore ba dule ba namme ka nako ya ho phomola. Ke tla lakatsa hore ke di bue ha kgutshwanyane e le hore tse ke di buileng di thopothele dipelong le dikelellong tsa batho, a ho be lesedi, a ho be kganya tseleng ya hao Modimo wa rona le badimo ba rona. Lesedi.
Arife mama matsoho. Le utlwile ho ya ka mama hore bothata ba rona ke hore ha re bei bana ba rona mo puleng, ba hola e ba stoutu because ha ba beiwa mo puleng, and I'm one of them. Ahava Tigva was not Lena ha beiwa mo puleng 7 months ago. Something for me to correct. At least I still have time. That being said, I'm told that MEC of Finance is in the house. Give her a round of applause. And with her, Renale, Chief of Staff, aka Morex, Murendeni Danduleni. Give him a round of applause. To get to the MEC, you need to go via him. And I'm also told there's Dr. Oscar Mabele, Dr. O. Give Dr. O a round of applause. And next to Dr. O, there's another doctor who just recently earned a specialty. Can we give him a round of applause? And he is going to also raise his hand so that everyone can know who I'm talking about. Dr. Soli, give him a round of applause. Renale Medi Palesambola, give her a round of applause. I know her. I'm not seeing her though. She's hiding. All right, so next, while we're still waiting for protocol for MEC Finance to be seated, we are going to have to introduce the one-on-one session. And please give MEC Finance a round of applause. Wittingly or unwittingly, probably also for my sins. MEC, I used to be MEC's boss. Now she's everybody else's boss. 7 years ago, I used to be her boss. Now she's everybody else's boss. So maybe you can give me a round of applause for my bruised ego. Yes, Retinani, where is Retinani? Retinani, can you come over? This one, it's okay, man. I know how we have this power. Okay. After this, so again, like
Yes.
All right. Our musical item. Are you guys ready? Are you ready this time? Over to you. Please give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them a round of applause. Down. Give him a round of applause. You may have thought that you have survived the day without... Okay, there's some feedback. I hope it's sorted now. As I was saying, you may have thought that you have survived the day. You don't have to sit and listen to people talking about issues. Unfortunately, by design, we made sure that we feed you and we also give you some drinks here and there so that you can lower your guard and listen to the panel. And the moderator or the facilitator, Motseki Maboya. I'll try to summarize his profile because it's almost about 2 pages. Born and raised in Kwakwa, Motseki is an activist who is largely involved in youth and community programs through YB 200, a youth communication movement founded in 2015 and known for annually hosting the YB 20 Honorary Awards, among other projects. He is also the chairperson of Motseki Maboya Foundation. He is the managing director of Bitumelo Media, and he's also a qualified broadcaster. He honed his skills for radio at Wits University Radio Academy and elements of broadcasting management at Rhodes University. In his own words, I want people to remember me for my different pedigree. When asked about his love for radio, that's what he quipped. When he is not creating content or he's not live on radio, Motseki is a farmer, Keraplas, who breeds pigs. Can we please give Motseki Maboya a round of applause as he ascends the stage? Okay, for a moment I thought that was Motseki. Oh, the real Motseki is in the house. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Ntate Itu. Am I allowed? Just for tonight, right? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to waste your time. As introduced, Libitulakake Motseki Maboya. Mine is really too easy. Is to invite our guest for a conversation around key 3 things. 1, today being the Freedom Day. 2, the concept of black excellence. But thirdly, what is also important, these are the community leaders at their own right. What do they think of the 29 years of freedom and democracy? And those are 3 things that I want myself and my panelists to focus on for the next at least couple of minutes. So, Ndate Kobas remasele kaofela ha re le mo. Right? Remasele kaofela ha re le mo. I'm going to request Ndate Jimmy Augustine to join me. Ndate Jimmy. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Ndate Jimmy. Okay, I see you guys are sorting that out. Ndate Jimmy, good evening, thank you. You may have a chair. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Ndate Jimmy. Can I, on the same breath, request the MEC responsible for the provincial purse, Mayor Khadija, to also join us. Another round of applause for Mayor Khadija. Mayor Brown, thank you very much. Colleagues, my sound people, let me see. Thank you very much. That they do, where are you? Just a quick one. I just want to see what you got there. got a roving mic there. I'm not sure if you are winning with my guys there. We've got our roving mic. Okay, cool. Right. I think they're sorting that out. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Jimmy. Thank MEC. Thank you, MEC. I think earlier on it was Dr. Krikori Mufukeng who indicated that among other things we've got to be brave and honest about the concept of black excellence, Poka. Good to see you. So for many of us, I'm sure, we may have a different view and definition of what black excellence would mean. But I do not want to really bore you with my inputs. My guests are here to do that. But we can improvise Dada Jim and MEC while that is being attended to. We can really improvise. Okay. Kwabas, do you have a particular way of the draw for who's going to get to drive around with the vehicle? We'll do that. Okay. And for some of us who are, unfortunately, will not be in Bloom for the weekend, we're already disqualified, right? There might be an option. Okay. We should be fine, right? We should be fine. Let me kickstart this conversation with you, Dr. Jimmy. And I would like to invite you to really talk to us. Obviously, we kickstart this conversation today. It's the 29th, but rather the 27th of April, 29 years of freedom and democracy. Your love for football, as an individual, but your love for development also. What do you think are the highs and lows of freedom and democracy? What are the highlights for you? Where do you think we are as a country, one, but two, where do you think we need to pick up some of the things that have fallen, if they have, in your understanding? But also, I want to, on the same breath, to take us through where do you think, as a country, as a province, and also as a city, Mangaung, where do you think we should go from your own understanding? This, of course, being part of where we can find the pockets of black excellence in it. Ladies and gentlemen, before I allow Dr. Jimmy to give us his opening, I'd humbly would like to request, if you allow Dr. to, my brothers and sisters there at the back at the bar, while we are serving, perhaps we might have an option of, let's get seated. Just raise your hand. I'm sure somebody can come through and attend to you, right? I'm sure we can do that. And that's part of black excellence. Can we agree doing that? Ausfifi and our host, if we can, at least for the next, if you allow me, for the next hour or so, we can close the bar. Let's engage. Let's get the essence of why we are here. Please. If you want a refill, just raise your hand. You'll certainly be attended to. Let's give it up for Dr. Jimmy. Let's engage. You're wired? You're wired?
Good evening, and thank you everybody for attending, and thank you for the invite. And we also acknowledge the presence of our MEC of Finance in the Free State, this event. So yes, to respond to your questions, I'm a businessman in Bloemfontein. But my biggest passion and my biggest hobby and my biggest drive in life has always been football. I was a professional player for Bloemfontein Celtic, played for Bloemfontein Young Tigers professionally as well, Ravens Football Club, played in Heidedal for Aston Villa, all at a semi-professional stroke professional level. Never ever did I ever engage in football as a player or as a club owner for financial gain or for the money in the business. It was always my ambition to build one of the greatest clubs in South African football, but in the process also bringing through the young, natural, black African talent, which we Mlungus do not possess. The African child is an extremely talented child. And I'm not only speaking about football, I'm speaking in arts and culture, I'm speaking in the world of business, I'm speaking in the world of development too. We all know what platforms we come from, hence the restrictions for a black child. 2 years ago, just before COVID, 2.5 years ago, just before COVID broke out, I was invited to bring an under-11 soccer team to an international tournament in Italy. The clubs that we would be partaking in that tournament were Everton from England, Servette from Switzerland, Porto from Portugal, Juventus from Italy. We had some of the biggest names in Europe that were to compete at this event. And then COVID came along and spoiled everything. However, in December 2022, we received another invite, and I put together an under-11 tournament for 9 schools. 2 from town, 1 from Heidedal, and 6 from the township. It was at the end of January. We selected 14 boys, because that's what we may take to the tournament. And we started training these boys 3-4 days a week, and we play friendly and competitive games every weekend. During the school holidays, we had them every day for training sessions. We have a bus that picks them up from their picking up points and delivers them home after the training sessions. As we speak here tonight, we'll be playing another 2 friendly games at CBC at 9:30 on Saturday morning. We will be departing on the 27th of May with the 14 boys. We travel from Johannesburg to Portugal. We stay there for 4 days and play 3 games. And then from Portugal, we fly over to Italy, where we partake in one of the biggest youth tournaments in Italy, and we will be the only representatives from Africa. And these, ladies and gentlemen, are your children from the township. These are the kids that we see that joined us in January, that has the raw talent, but has not been developed or not been harnessed. And this is where we find great satisfaction in finding young black talent and turning it into a professional product. So speaking on that behalf, any black business people, especially my brother from the Black Business Council, here's a great opportunity for you guys to back and support. None of these kids will pay for any of these expenses. All the sponsorships, it will cost about R1 million to take these children to Europe for a week, to accommodate them, to fly them, to dress them, to kit them up. And none of the parents and none of the kids are paying anything from their pockets. Everything is from business donations and business people and institutions. So anybody want to support the cause, it will be great. Thank you. Coming to our everyday lives in South Africa, my brother asked me to speak a little bit about Freedom Day. I remember the first time I went to the township, I was a 15-year-old boy. It was in 1985. There was a state of emergency in South Africa, and I went to go watch Bloemfontein Celtic play Orlando Pirates at Johnson Bendile Stadium. And the bug bit me from then, and I've never stayed away from the stadiums, and I've never stayed away from the townships. Unfortunately, I'm one of few white-skinned people in Bloemfontein in South Africa that has ventured across these lines and have ventured across these barriers. And I always try to bring as many of them with me as I possibly can, because there's only one way, in my opinion, that we can fix the challenges we face in this country, is that if we can all take our hands together, Leave the thing of race. Yes, we are Indian. Yes, we are colored. Yes, we are black. Yes, we are white. But at the end of the day, we are all South Africans. And if we don't take our hands together and uplift those who were previously disadvantaged, we'll never overcome our problems. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ndari Jimmy. I think for me, I don't know if the colleagues can just confirm if your mic is good there. Are we good on his wired mic? Okay. Before I bring in MEC, just a quick follow-up for me. I mean, one key thing that you are making reference to, and for me, that's what democracy means to you, given the work that you have done and that you continue to do, that democracy is about creating opportunities, right? And for those who would have been part, for an example of what you've given, for these kids who would be joining you to this lifetime great opportunity, they too have a responsibility and a role to play in the opportunity that democracy has created for them. That is to seize this opportunity, and for them to come back, at least 1, 2, or 5, or 10 of them for that matter, to go back and represent all of us here and to carry the flag of South Africa. And I think the forefathers and the martyrs of freedom, that's what they would want to see. But just the last one before I bring in the MEC. Generally, in your space of football, you would have concerns around the role and the contribution that both business and government are playing. Where do you think government should take us to, whether from the policy point of view or whether from the opportunity point of view, and what role should business play generally? And when you look into football, both within the city, in the province, and in South Africa.
Well, I think in terms of government and business, I think we could do a hell of a lot more to uplift sports. And if we talk sports, what is a black child's first choice of sport? We're talking particularly football here. Football is the sport of the nation, and any black child's first dream is to play professional football, more than any other sport. I think government can play a big role. Government can come to the fore in terms of development. As I've said before, the African talent is there. The natural gift resides in the black boy and the black girl. They do. They honestly do. That's why the top European clubs always come looking for talent in Africa. And in West Africa, they've set up fantastic academies which allows their youth the springboard into the European market where the great financial gains are for footballers. And I think if we talk about Bloemfontein specifically, I think we need a development center specifically for football, from under 9s, from under 6, where a black child, his parents can take him and develop the natural God-given talent that he has. At this stage, I think that is a space that is sorely lacking in development football in the province. Thank you.
Well, a round of applause for Ndade Jimmy. Thank you very much, Ndade Jimmy. Let me bring you in, MEC Khadija. What has been the highlight, or rather, what are the highlights for you within this 29 years of freedom and democracy? Again, for you as an individual, before you be the MEC, what are the lows for you? And I think some of the pointers that Ndade Jimmy has already raised in terms of what role that government can play. And I also want us to use this opportunity for you, for your opening statement, to also look at the how has the government not only supported the black businesses, but how has your government as a Free State supported young women in particular across all the departments? And if you may, just draw the numbers or percentages for us to say, at least for the past financial year or the past 4 years, We are towards the end of this administration next year. So let's look at, in terms of percentages, where are we seated as a province? Are you happy? Should we sit here as black business people and say, yeah, sure, Free State, we're good?
Thank you. Let me start with the program director, Mr. Will Chweni, and facilitator of this evening, Mr. Mabuya. I believe it's Lesedi FM, 5 FM, many FMs, and you all over the show. To the organizers of this event, the Free State Online, Gregory Mofokeng, Black Business Council, but let me also introduce Ndati Mosebetsi Dladla from the BMF in our province that works very strategically and closely with Free State provincial government. We have Ms. Sehlabo, which is a traditionalist. I'm not sure if I see her here. Oh, there she is. Good day, Ma. I'm happy that you're here. You can also tell us some stories and give us some guidance this evening. And then we've got a celebrity in the house, Tony Roger. Please stand up, show them Mr. Celebrity, Mr. Netflix himself, Mr. International TV himself. Yes. And then Bernard Murata, I think I've also acknowledged you. Thank you very much for this opportunity and for some time to talk to you this evening. I'm not going to bore you too much with statistics, but I do want to talk about two key aspects. First and foremost, I want us to talk about GDP prior to democracy and freedom and post. And then I want to talk about education statistics prior and post. So I'm going to give you those two figures, and then I'm going to zone into me, right? So in 1994, only 51% of South Africans could read and write. Prior to 1994, 51% of South Africans could read and write. Today, 94.3% South Africans can read and write. Thank you. And sometimes we're very harsh and we give ourselves a lot of criticism about the work that we are doing. But the skewed spatial development planning, the skewed financing and budgeting, the skewed planning that we've had across the previous 100 years prior to democracy has given us challenges with an enabling financing to complete and to deal with many of our key issues in this country: unemployment, poverty, and inequality. But also let me touch quickly on what our GDP as South Africa was like prior to 1994. Our GDP was $136 billion pre-1994. Today, our GDP is $420.28 billion. That has more than doubled. And if we're looking at the period in which the growth in GDP between 1960 and 1994, 34 years under the apartheid government, GDP grew by 127 billion. But in 28 years, between 1994 and 2022, GDP grew by 284 billion. And the reasons could be many, but it is inclusivity. It's ensuring that majority of South Africans are included in the functioning of our economy. It is also brought about more women and young people being able to be economically active. And also, of course, the expenditure by government over those years. So what we should think about is how do we take the next 10, 15, 20 years forward? And how do we positively talk about a targeted approach to deal with some of these issues? I'm not going to be painting a rosy picture. Everything is not rosy. Load shedding, our energy crisis is stifling economic growth in our country. It is supposed to be an economic factor, a job driver, a production enabler to ensure that as an economy, we industrialize, we produce, we manufacture, we make sure that money flow happens and churns in our economy. That has been a huge stumbling block. Our water infrastructure in our country has not only not been maintained over a period of years, but new infrastructure and new development has been a challenge, largely through aspects of corruption, aspects of capacity where there is no capacity and understanding. We've got so many of our black professionals who have left this country to do work elsewhere across the globe. And we're losing engineers, we're losing professionals, we're losing doctors, because we are not finding space for our professionals in our organizations. But subsequent to that, we have also got a responsibility as government to create an enabling environment to ensure that we harness the capacity of the people that we do have, to ensure that we skill people within our economies and in our provinces and in our environments, to ensure that we build a capable and ethical state. Now, I think there's a lot to celebrate in the sense that I can get off a train in the Free State. My parents couldn't. I can wear hijab without being ostracized. I can walk around sleeveless with my hair open and be who I want to be whenever I want to be without being called a woman that is not religious, if I had to live in a religious or Arab country. I can choose to be anything I want to be. My sexuality, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. South Africa has given us all of that. We've got one of the most amazing constitutions. We've got an incredible freedom charter that guides us along in terms of our ability to live freely in this country. So, how do we affect a system? And this is where I'd like for you to come in, and I want us to go around the room, facilitator. And I want to ask the question, what would freedom mean to you? What is the one thing, and it could just be one statement, what would freedom mean to you? I know that we are not economically free. I know that we are still struggling to enter the barriers of industrialization. I know that we still have challenges with capital in this country. I know that we are still pushing through the threshold of that 2% who owns and controls the resources, production, and endowment of this country. I know that we don't have access to land or access to our own endowments, our own resources in the country. I know that the Khoi and the San, who belonged here before any colonialist has come into this country, still don't have access to their own land and their own Africa. So what is it that we should do to be able to harness that? Skills, we can talk about skills. We've skilled enough people. There is so much of funding going towards skills. There's so much of funding going towards enterprise development. There's so much of funding going towards accessing an ecosystem, incubators, hand-holding, mentorship. But when does that tacky hit the tar? And that tacky hits the tar when we are right in the center of it and we're thrown in the deep end and we are implementing. The tacky hits the tar when you actually don't know what you're doing and you're pretending that you know what you're doing and you find yourself at the end of this in a positive way. Now coming back to who I am and what freedom meant to me. Yes, Will was my boss. I was a 23-year-old manager of black economic empowerment and public sector banking provincial manager, female, in the Free State, the youngest. And at the time, I felt I was a token. At the time, I felt like I was being set up. At the time, I felt like I wasn't qualified enough or experienced enough for the position. But guess what? Being in the position gave me that experience. Being in that position, fighting to know whether I was doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Being in the position, making mistakes over and over. Being in the position, being embarrassed because I didn't know isiXhosa well enough or Sotho well enough. Being in the position because I wasn't black enough, I wasn't white enough. I was a mixed race person in this country that was a token of a female that could manage black economic empowerment and public sector banking when I didn't even know where to start. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what determines your grit. What determines whether you're going to flee or you're going to fight. What is going to determine whether you are going to resign and feel sorry for yourself, or whether you're going to stand up and you're going to succeed. None of us know everything. None of us have the answers. None of us know how to be a Fortune 500 shareholder. None of us know how to get there. But the only way we will get there is to do, is to put yourself in that position, whether you are embarrassed or not, whether you will make it or not, and give yourself a fair chance to do it. And everything else will come after that. You can study after that, you can try and find the qualifications that's going to match your experience, you're going to find some balance. But if you're not going to take that leap of faith, I can assure you, you're not going to make this work. Lastly, before I hand over, I'd like to say that I am proud of the young generation of the Free State. Tonight, we have business owners. We have leaders of industry, business, academia. We have millionaires in our midst. I know you millionaires, I see so many of you in the business fraternity, so many of you I have worked with in Destia, in public works, in finance. I've seen so many of you that we have supported in so many other activities. And you know what? You come back and you continue and you fight and you persevere and you remain resolute. And whether your project is sustainable or not, you get up every day and you make sure that you fight for that passion that you are living and you are dreaming of. And I want to thank you, young Free Staters, male and female, who I see in this room today. Thank you for not allowing our political adversities in this country to dampen your spirits, to be part of a democracy and part of this freedom, to say, I belong here. I am the owner and control of my economy in this Free State, and I've got a right to do business here. Thank you for not giving up. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, MC. All right, I think we're fine. The regime. Let me, I'm just checking. Okay. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but I'm going to look just for 4 hands that are going to contribute into this conversation. Whether it's a submission on what has been shared by my panelists here, or you want to directly respond to what MEC Brown has posed a question on. But while I'm looking for those 4 hands, I just want to bring in Dr. Jimmy, your experience over the years and looking into the future, where you are taking these young people from the township of Free State and supporting what the MEC had alluded to. Would you sit here and confidently so and say, our future is in safe hands? in as far as leadership is concerned and the policy direction that our government is taking us to when you look into the sector and the sphere that you are in?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of challenges that face our government. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. A lot of it is historical backlog, but as MEC earlier alluded that if we all put our hands together and we work towards change for the better of tomorrow, I think we have to invest in our youth. I think that's a non-negotiable platform, is that we really need to invest in our youth if we want to see long-term products, development, products, and progress.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Jimmy. Let's give both Khadija and Dr. Jimmy a round of applause. I want to take those 4 hands, and we'll be done for the night. Khadija asked a direct question. What does freedom mean to you? 29 years later, you are here, you are in business. Are you happy? You're not happy? You've got a direct question or a contribution on the basis of what has been discussed tonight, not only for this panel. I want to take those 4 hands.
I am going to nominate people. Especially the delinquents in the back. Good evening, sir. Hello. How are you, gentlemen?
Hi, I'm good, and you?
Hi, how are you?
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means to be able to express myself, without reservations. Freedom also means for me to do, good by others and for myself, build, a legacy for myself and my kids in a free environment that allows me to do so.
This is freedom.
This is freedom. Thank you. We've got a very handsome man here. Good evening.
Good evening. I think freedom is the freedom, as you said earlier, to be what you want to be.
That's freedom,
What does freedom mean to you?
That you want to follow. It wasn't always like that. Pre-1994, we couldn't always be what we want to be, and now we can, literally any child, a child from a rural area without any financial backing from their parents can grow up and become whatever they want to in the country as we have it now.
Thank you. Wonderful. Beautiful lady that's sitting in the corner. Hello, KB. What does freedom mean to you? Please stand up. Look how gorgeous she is. Come stand next to me.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I think freedom for me would have to be, I'll speak for myself as a young person. It means I can walk into a space and not be judged. It means I can walk up and say, I'm Bonolo, I'm running my own hair salon, and somebody won't tell me, shut up and sit down. So freedom for me means my voice is heard and it will be assisted. And as a young person, it means whatever I say will gain the support of those who are before me, those who have more knowledge than me, and I will be empowered. That's what freedom means for me.
Thank you. That's Bonolo. She owns a hair salon. What does freedom mean to you, young girl? You can't be more than 21, right?
My name is Puseleto Mokhadi. I am 27 years. I just turned. Yes. I just turned 27 this year. I'm a founder of Passionate Kasi Chicks Foundation. I'm also a marketing manager of June July Empire. Freedom Day means to me that I'm free to live my own life as I see fit, to be passionate about everything that I see and love about myself and everything that I do. Freedom is waking up in the morning and being happy and joyful about everything that you are. Thank you.
Wonderful. The energy is good. Mama Hey, Mama India. I traveled I traveled with Mama to India and we were going to do a hay factory at some point. What does freedom mean to you?
Hey, freedom for me, yeah, it's so sad. Because now you are living in the dark country because of the load shedding and the economy is so low for me. It's so sad. I don't know what I can say about Freedom Day in South Africa today. Everything, I see poverty. I see people are struggling in this country. SMMEs are not supported in this country. I don't know what is happening, but everything is falling apart. So there is nothing I can write home about Freedom Day today. That's my opinion as a woman in this country.
No, thank you, Mama. And that's important that we hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. So SMMEs are not supported. Mama Khosi, we took you overseas to deal with arts and Turkey and Sophia, and that's what this government did. And we made sure that your products were marketed abroad. But I'd like to touch on the issue, a dark country, no support to SMMEs, the ability for the economy that is low. Let us understand how we can fix it. And I've got some people here, Ma, I'm going to come to you now. I've got some people here who've got ideas to fix a few things. So let's hear, because they've got an upcoming event that's going to help us with energy, renewables. What does freedom mean to you and how do we fix Umama's issue?
Does it have to be me, MEC? Thank you. Freedom for me is being able to walk into any government institution and when I knock, she just said, when we knock, we get support, right? Freedom to me is being able to get support from other ladies and also supporting other ladies, bringing them with me as I grow. And I'd like to touch on the event, like the MEC has given me permission. On the 3rd to the 5th of May, we are hosting an Industrial Entrepreneur Week. So the event is a 3-day event where day 1, we speak with topics regarding agriculture and tech. Day 2 is energy security. As the MEC has alluded, we need solution regarding that. And day 3, we also need to solve tourism and transportation in the province. So if you are interested, I'd like to invite you to come and listen. The MEC will be there on day 2, on Thursday, to address issues of energy. We do have Nicolette Mashile as our facilitator for the 3 days, and we do have Vuyani Jarana addressing issues of agriculture and technology in the local economy. Thank you very much.
Now, before I go to Mama and to Tony, who else wants to say something? Okay, is this the last 2? All right, thank you.
Thank you, MEC. I'm not sure how you will pose this, but it's just maybe my input for tonight. I noted as you were speaking, but I'm more into women emancipation than anything, and I noted that women should be economically free, participating on management positions. There should be gender gaps that must be closed in the world of business and in the world of work, and women living freely from an environment that is GBVF, you know. But here's the thing, all of this that I'm mentioning, we've got policies in place that are still far from being, you know, implemented. You've got the 40% set aside that has been announced and proclaimed by the President in 2020 that must still come to pass, which will, I think, help in somehow fulfilling the gap of women who are still struggling we had now somebody who was saying they're not getting funding. And then secondly, we've got the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence that has so many aspects and so many key stakeholders that can hold hands and resolve. So if we can really get to a point of fulfilling and implementing the policies, and there shouldn't be like a stashed away kind of thing, then we will definitely get somewhere. Talk to me 5 years later and I will be saying now I'm economically free as a woman. Thank you, MEC.
Thank you, MEC, and good evening. My name is Asavela Mbata. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager for the Bond Hotel, Bloemfontein Central, one of the key contributors to tourism in the Free State. I want to speak to the lady that's got the events that she was mentioning just now, because tourism in the Free State is one of the areas that have been getting quite a lot of attention, but in terms of analyzing the actual grassroots work that's been done, there's also quite a long way to go. And now in terms of talking to substantiating that space, those are one of the key focuses that personally I feel still needs quite a lot of attention, because it's one of the spaces that is also women-led. And now if we're talking to things such as emancipating women economically, also that is another key area to look at. And I'm not just speaking as a woman contributing rather in that space, and for one of the most recognized corporates in the area, but also understanding that we've seen the GDP contribution that it's done. Now I'm talking before COVID, where it contributed a good 8.9%. That is quite significant, and I mean, the more women we see, and they have really bright and profitable ideas. So now to fully take the freedom element to another level, also take note of supporting them, not also just for the note that they are women, because I believe that the fact that you have to be supported due to you being a woman than any other person. It's a contributing factor, yes, but also the substance that you bring in that space, because at the end of the day, we want to see the majority being economically free. And that's where we can say that we are fully free. However, also to answer your question, what freedom means to me is that having the ability to deliberate on these ideas and actively go out to put them to fruition. And yes, there are other areas that can still be worked on, but then again, let's take stock of how far we've come, because we've come a great way, and a lot is yet to come from where we're at. Thank you.
So just out of this conversation, let me just highlight two things. First and foremost, you're not going to be able to do this alone. And the wealthy have been able to identify that for many years. They've got Rotary clubs. They do golf clubs. Inanda, as an example, is one of the key areas where the wealthy come together and they make business deals, not only on the golf course, but having a drink or a cocktail or whatever it may be. I can tell you need three things as a business person. You need a lawyer and a good finance person, an accountant, and your ideas. The rest you pull through various supports, networks, market access, the ability to understand the hustle comes from within. It is here. But you need somebody that's going to help you contract and legally put your project through a process where you are not going to be done in. And you need a trusted financier to help you create reserves for the next day, for the funding, for the quality of the business plan, for the funding. That is the biggest challenge that I'm having with Free Staters at the moment, is that we don't have a quality business plan that can go to the DTIC, that can go to IDC, that can go to the relevant financiers and say, okay, I'm prepared to finance this. There's Will. He's into this capital. Many of you deal with capital and wealth management and asset management. Find that and get yourselves those trusted two guides, and that's going to take your businesses to the next level. On the issue of women, procurement in the Free State in 2019-2020, we procured 27% of goods and services from women. In 2020-21, it was close to 31%. Last year, we went back to 30.2%. Our focus is the 40%. Our target as a province is 40%, and that is my intention and our generic department's attention through provincial government procurement of 40% of goods and services by women and women-owned business. Yes, ma'am.
The very last one, MEC, thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Dol Mahatanya. MEC, freedom means to me that freedom can be so many things. That is different to all of us. But I just want to speak to Free Staters. Sometimes we fight for a small pie, and all of us want to bite each other because of just one deal. I'm a company that is doing Netball World Cup. I have learned that even going outside sometimes helps you to be big inside. So we are free to do business with the world. So that's why I do business with the world. So as free people, big business, let's explore and move outside Free State as we are in Free State, so that we go outside and get these opportunities and come and empower the Free State.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Last facilitator, I promise Mama, our poet and our traditionalist. She's going to give us some wise words today. What does freedom mean, Mama? What does it mean to you today?
Ke kopa botoloki. Ke kopa toloko.
Yamme, retemme.
Rele basadi ba Basotho.
As women,
Re lakatsa
from the Sotho tribe, we would like to
dijo tsa rona tse kang dipabi di etswa ka bongata.
our indigenous food to be accommodated and been made in abundance.
Re rata ho boloka boleng ba sehlahiswa tseo ke na le setshwantsho le mohlala wa sona ma.
I would like to show you that I have a sample of what I'm talking about when I talk about indigenous food.
Re lakatsa ho ipokeletsa re le basadi sebakeng se le seng ha re ka ra fuwa sebaka re ohle boya ba dinku tsa rona re lohe ka boya bo re etse dietswa tse ka etswang ka bona.
We would like as women to be given a space where we can be able to trade and be able to practice our cultural indigenous sewing, and more especially using sheepskin and sheep wool.
Re ohla boya bo ele ulu eo e leng ya rona.
So we do that and doing it out of our own strength.
Re rata ho etsa ntho eo re le sebakeng se le seng seo re ka se fuwang mme re rute le morole o motjha.
We would like to do that at the place that I spoke of, the place that will be given to all the women, and also be able to teach and transfer knowledge to the ones that are coming behind us.
Ke a leboha mme.
Thank you very much.
Ke a leboha, Mama. Where does Mama live? Okay.
Ke dula Ellis Park.
Eldridge Park. Ke lebohile. Can you please take down Ma's details We will send a team from Agriculture and Destia tour and see how we can assist what it is that she needs to do. Thank you, Kia leboha. Tony, you can keep that mic and you can tell us what freedom means to you, and then I can sit down. Thank you.
Okay. I think actually, before he does, what we thought we should do was to have him, maybe give him about 5 minutes for him to explain how creative and black excellence and economic empowerment are matched together. So we'll give him 3 minutes. So let's steal this 3 minutes away from him, and then we'll give him just that 3 minutes.
Okay.
And he can maybe just squeeze in what freedom means to him.
And I want to talk about black excellence in the BMF. May I sit down? Or do you
Is
still
she
need
allowed
me?
to sit down?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, please give him a round of applause. Just give me about two minutes.
Right. Thank you very much, MEC Khadija. Thank you very much. Let's give me Khadija and Ntate Jim a huge round of applause.
Can I go to Can I go
Thank you very much.
You need me to the stage.
Yes, let me walk you up. So I think as I wrap up this segment of tonight, would have picked up from what submissions that have been made by some of the colleagues from the floor in Ntate Chweni. But just two things for me is that we've got pockets of South Africans who are saying there's nothing to really write home about within these 29 years of freedom and democracy. But key so from me is to say what really freedom means to all of us, that we also have a responsibility to preserve our tradition and culture. And as young people, that's entirely depend upon us to say, what do we do with the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that many of them within our societies have? And unfortunately for many of us as black people, the knowledge that they have, unfortunately, 80% of it's not documented. And as they leave this world, they go straight with it in the graves with it in that return. And I think that's the bigger responsibility as part of celebrating freedom and democracy, to say, what do we do in that space? Yourself and many others who are within that space of capturing bommele bontate ba rona, whether ke Basotho, ke Mazulu, Mapedi kaofela ha rona, re pokeletso ya letlotlo la rona, le tsebo ya rona ka dihlahiswa tse fapaneng, re etsa jwang ka yona. Mohlala, mme o tshwere dipabi kwana, metsi ke a bone a mangata ka tlung ka mona mme. Jwale dipabi di teng, ga ba e teng, ha o sa di tsebe hore ke eng, ke tla o khatsetsa o latswe utlwe hore na dipabi ke eng. And I'm sure as we continue, Ntate Tsepo and your colleagues, Ntate Mofokeng, in all our events as black people, all the May is saying is that le rona re batla ho bona dihlahiswa tsa rona tseo re di hlahisang re le Basotho, le re mema le rona le re fa monyetla wa kgwebo ho tla re tlo ba le di-stall tsa rona, and equally share this economic opportunity with many young people who are in different taste of food. And kiso mercy buang a ke rotlele me matsogo. I really want to thank all of you for your attention. It's a bit difficult, of course, to have a conversation in an environment of this nature, especially when we've already had our drinks, but we are moving right along. I'm sure for the next hour or so, we'll conclude the formal proceedings. Thank you so much.
Please, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, MEC. Mr. Augusti, thank you. And if there's anything that was common between the MEC and Mr. Augusti is one, when the black empowerment transaction, I think it was about 6-7 years ago, was happening, where Mr. Augusti was relinquishing the control of Bloemfontein Celtics to a black entrepreneur. I was the deal lead of the transaction. I think it was about 65 million rand. And it was the most seamless transaction ever. Mr. Augusti, let's give him a round of applause. And I also know from the MEC, apart from me having the lipstick here on my shirt, I'll have to explain when I get home, but at least MEC is my wife's elder sister, so that is taken care of. And I will definitely not be sleeping on the couch tonight. Garden City is sponsoring this event. And now that we have all these entrepreneurs, I saw Re Kika here, Kiboni Me Rampana, and as well here, Kiboni Medichabe and the CEO couldn't be with us. And there's also Metsawani from APSA and all the other entrepreneurs that I may have missed out on. Please make use of Mr. Koba's team and put a deal together. That being said, I'm conflicted, but I'm declaring that I've known Tony for over 30 years. We are closer now to 50 than we ever were in our lives. So I'll call upon him to at least, and I'm giving him 2 minutes, to come share what is he doing here and what is his contribution going forward. And incorporated into that is how arts and the creatives can be used to further the cause of Black excellence. Please, let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Program Director, the MEC, the organizers of this event, and Mercedes-Benz for making this whole event look beautiful and so classy. Thank you very much. And I actually just wanted to, I didn't prepare anything, but I'm just going to speak from the heart and basically saying that, you know, when you wake up this morning, I'm sure you were listening to music. When you woke up in your house, there must have been a painting on the wall. There must have been some sculpture or some nice vase or something. And we got here dressed very nicely, entertained by the musicians there. Everything that I've spoken about, it has every little thing to do with the creative industry. The clothes that you're wearing are made by fashion designers. The problem with us is that, and going to Black excellence, is that there are a lot of artistic works around us and artistic elements and things that we use. But artists, and more especially in this country, not only in the Free State, in this country, are having it hard to make a decent living. And MEC, that's our challenge. And maybe it's something that we need to look into to say, how come in every little household there's so many art? I don't care what, even you can go to the squatter camps. There's something that has to do with art that is there. But yet, our artists are not having a breakthrough in making sure that they have that economic freedom. Going back to and I would be proud to say, you know, what I'm wearing here, it's a local design. This trouser was made by Oleli Dimu, and this is Mtogo. And Oleli Dimu is one of our Free State guy. The only thing that I'm not wearing that is not local is my shoes and my belt and the watch, and maybe the glasses. So 50% of what I'm wearing is from South Africa. So the other thing that I'm trying to encourage is that when we come to events, don't only wear local stuff only when you come to events. Please look for those tracksuits that you can wear and go to gym with that are made locally. Those sneakers, bobatu, bateng, you know. And if there's someone in the Free State who's trying to go that route, let's encourage and say, hey, let me wear that. There is no event that I will go to without wearing the House of Ole. And not because he's from Bloem, but it's just because he makes good suits and they sit nice on me. And the other guy called him Togo and stuff like that. And I'm not saying wear manga stuff, but I'm saying
the only way we can support each other is to make sure that we support even our artworks. Ask yourself, that vase that is in your house, where was it made? Who made it? Is it made locally? Is it made internationally? Is it possible for me to buy it being made locally, or any sort of that thing? So I'm just saying there's a lot that I can talk about, and more especially like focusing in maybe every sector within the creative industry and trying to show you how we can support each other, but it will take forever. But with a little bit and the 2 minutes that I'm given, I'm just saying that, you know, let's hold hands, let's support each other, and let's make sure that we even watch the shows, the South African shows that are put on these streams now that are there, your Netflix, your Disney. We're now tapping into Disney and stuff like that. And MEC, it would be nice for us to start having a Free State film soapy, maybe a film from the Free State, or a soapy also from the Free State. Durban is doing it. Now the Eastern Cape is coming up with theirs. We still don't have ours. We still don't have a Sesotho or Sesotho mixed Bloemfontein type of language type show that we can also enjoy. So your numbers are also counting, please. By supporting local shows, it also gives these streamers a way of saying there's life in the Free State, there's talent. I mean, there's talent in South Africa, even in the Free State, and there's also people who are interested in making sure that they make those stories. And encourage our writers to also write our stories, our Sesotho stories, our Free State stories. There's a lot that can come out of this place. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity just to share a few words. Thank you.
A round of applause. So, Mr. Dada, my brother, are you ready? Please can you ascend the stage and come share 2 minutes. I'm on countdown. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. May I have some of your attention? I think 2 minutes is a short time, then I'll be out of here. Colleagues, thank you so much for making it today. I had a discussion with Ndate Tsiriso Tinani sometime last year, and part of our discussion was one. There are so many people in the Free State that have done so well, and the intention for us was to use the branch that we have as the BMF called the Black Excellence Awards. So the intention is that later this year we must host the Black Excellence Awards. And the concept is one. What does it mean when we say someone is a black excellent person? It doesn't talk only to a person that has made more money for themselves, but we're looking at people that have done more impact in changing our environment and our province, but equally giving the name of this province a better vision and a better aspect. I was happy, MEC, you mentioned that there might be issues politically, but I think in terms of business, the creative sector, a lot of guys are still holding the Free State very high up there. And that we must appreciate, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is the BMF all about? The BMF was founded about 46 years ago, at a time when no black person was a manager. The BMF seeks to create structures in South African economy that are representative of our demographics. How has the BMF done this aspect? The Employment Equity Act was drafted by the BMF, which has given what we today call the black professionals. Before 94, there was no such a thing called a black professional. Now, through affirmative action, blueprint, as well as the Employment Equity Act of 98, we created the black professionals. With that, we simply said, we want to see black people being managers and being affirmed. Now, why did we say that? Simply, if any multinational was to stay in South Africa, it means the control and the running of those companies needed to look like the people of South Africa. But MEC, there's one thing we never said as BMF. We never said hire incompetent black people. We said When we then did the BE Act, we said ownership is important. We want black people to own part of the economy incrementally over time. That's why the targets are always increasing. We need black management in terms of board representation. I think you've seen a number of CEOs, executives, majority of the first generation of the BMF are now retiring. People like Dr. Bonang Mohale, people like Dr. Ruel Koza. These are people at no point in time have got anything negative said about them. Those are the epitome of black managers we talk about. If today, MEC, we've got a challenge, and this is where we said as BMF, we thought when we allowed our black brothers to run government, they will run it right. We didn't realize that we might have a situation that we don't bring the right people into government. Today, AfriForum is ready to take away the Employment Equity Act. And majority of black professionals don't understand what they're saying. They're saying, we no longer want black people to be affirmed. 2 weeks ago, the BMF did something in its history. It says the entire presidency of black executives in the country will be run by women. We've got a female president, we've got a female deputy president. We've got a company secretary who's female, we've got an MD who's female. But if all of us as black people today keep quiet when AfriForum says we want this Employment Equity Act removed, do you know what it means? Tomorrow, all of you that work in corporate will be out of your job. Many people think that they are working in corporate or in government because of their competence. No, it is because of that law that created those opportunities. Many people today call BEE tenders. BEE is not tenders, colleagues. BEE forced multinationals to fund black people. If you studied with any bursary in this country as a black person, it was because the law forced government as well as private sector to fund you, not a white child. And if today, AfriForum or whatever they used to say, let's remove this thing, they're actually saying, we want to stop this development of black people. So I know many of us, we vote for different political parties, and some of us are angry at the ANC. I'm saying, these laws are not ANC laws. These laws are for black people in this country. So today, in Freedom Day, 29 years later, if you ask me, what does freedom mean? It means the economy. We don't have freedom if we don't have the economy. We did not fight for freedom to go and sit next to white people, colleagues. Today, I'm going to say it clearly, and please give me a minute. You know, I had to make a long drive today to come here, and I will appreciate if I have that. Thank you. What I will raise is to say, and I've cautioned a number of people that says the Free State economy is agriculture and mining. And I said, how many black people own agriculture and mining? So how can we as black people say our economy is what we don't own? We must then say our economy is the creative arts, because at least we own it and we've seen how far we've gone. And then it simply says we'll take all our money into that space. We'll set up the studios. We don't have studios in South Africa. Maybe let's set the studios here in Free State and say that's our economy. So one of the things we need to be clear of, MEC, if some of us have been playing in business for some time, I'll tell you one thing. The issue that all our black people that stay in townships don't have title deeds simply means this government has excluded them from the economy. The South African economy is not ownership of land, it's ownership of property. When you do a financial statement, you don't put land there, you put property. Property is registered under the Deeds Registries Act. If you don't have anything called a title deed, you own nothing in this country. So we need to fix those aspects. And let's bring the right black professionals to go and fight those fights. There was a time when AfriForum was quiet in this country. Why? Because our government hired the best brains that could move us forward. I'm not saying our people don't need jobs. I'm saying the best among us must always look after our people. We are tired of black business people that says we are business people, but they don't hire our black professionals. We need to have that discussion. So, colleagues, all I'm asking is, we need, at this point in time, when majority of our founding fathers are going to be retiring, to take over the baton and to now say, no political party is going to divide us. The agenda on employment equity and the agenda on BEE is a black agenda. It's for every black child, irrespective of your political affiliation. And we now need to mainstream it, bring in women. 51% procurement for black women, let me see, not 40%. It should be equitable. Women are 51% of the population of this country. So our procurement must be equitable. If the youth of this country are majority, it means the entire economy of this country must be more run by young people. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Dada. For some reason, I'm inclined to use the word Comrade Dada. Retinane, I can assure you, now we are almost done with the formalities. But I also need to say this, that perhaps to use Mr. Dada's words, the best amongst us right now, we have entrepreneurs. We have champions of transformation, my sister and MEC of Finance. We have risk takers, Mele Re Rampana. We have Re Khosi here. We have Davian Capital. We have Tony. And all of these are housed under one roof. So you cannot but agree with me. There has to be something that comes out of today's Freedom Day. And for that, perhaps we should give ourselves a round of applause. You know, they say nothing beats showing up. And if you're an entrepreneur, you would understand this. Because every day winning does not necessarily feel like you are winning as an entrepreneur. But tomorrow again, you try again. A day after you try, they take a car, but you show up. They close your office, but again, you show up. And that is what they call, in very good English, resilience. But between you and me, that's probably the only way of life that we have come to know. And I'm looking for Mr. Tinane. And don't forget that Mr. Kovas made this thing possible. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze his hand, but there's a beautiful piece of machinery here that I can take home tonight. But it's for a different discussion with Kovas later today or tomorrow morning. Kovas, I can stake a claim on that car. Mr. Tinane, I'm going to call. It's a very beautiful, difficult name to say though, Tiaj. Please let's give them a round of applause. A musical item. Please give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony, a round of applause. MEC, Dada, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Issue. Let's dance a little bit. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I want to see everybody moving. Come on. Come on now. Sure.
Okay. First. You don't around. Okay.
See me in the week. You don't have that chance to call me on the phone, yeah. You know I'm around to see me in the week. You don't have that chance to call me on the phone, yeah. My Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting for you. Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting for you. Come home to see me in the week. You don't have the chance to call me on the phone, yeah. My Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting for you. Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting for you. I'm the weekend special. I'm the weekend special. I'm the weekend special. I'm the weekend every day. Shoot! It's all around to see me in the week. You don't have the chance to call me on the phone, yeah. My Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting for you. Friday nights, I know I must be ready for you, just waiting. Let me hear you all. I'm the weekend special.
Louder, louder.
I hear you.
I'm the weekend. Yes, sir. I'm the weekend. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. You are the winners for tonight.
Give them a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. And again, the lyrics I said, I'm not your weekend special. I just learned that now. So I've been saying it wrong all along. Red Tinani, are you ready? We are almost done. Red Sidiso Tinani, may you please ascend the stage and introduce the last panelist. And may we cut it down to about 20 minutes? I know I won't be very popular with Mr. Dada. Please introduce your panelist and then you take it over from there. Thank you.
Good evening, colleagues. I just want to find out, is it possible for the last segment to close the bar a bit and then we'll open it up again after? Please. You know, you can't miss social program in business, ne? Okay, colleagues, now we are going to go into our last segment of the program for tonight. That will be a panel discussion. The panel discussion is going to focus mainly on business and also the social sector. You know, we're going to talk about the dynamics that normally face black people, both in business also. in the social sector. And then I have, the panel actually have a lot of people compared to the one that Museki facilitated before this one. Let me welcome to the stage Mr. Mosebetsi Dladla, Provincial Chairperson of Black Management Forum in the Free State. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, and also let's welcome Dade Mukwane. Are you here? Dade Mukwane? Okay, let's welcome Mr. KB Libusho. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Libusho, you will implement social programs after. Okay, and Fifi, is Fifi around? Fifi, Refilo. Fifi, Tsepo, where's Fifi? Atamilong. Okay, thank you, colleagues. I was just consulting. You know, when you drive a program, you always consult. And colleagues, this is how the program is going to go. It's going to be interactive. In fact, you are going to ask more and participate more on this segment than me and the panelists. If perhaps you will need to ask a question, we'll facilitate a process for you to perhaps raise your hand so that we can allow you an opportunity to ask a question. Even just comments, you know, because today we're celebrating Freedom Day and it covers all of us. I don't think that is actually exclusive to our panel or myself as a facilitator here. Are we ready? Okay, colleagues, we have two more panelists that are supposed to be joining, but we only have Advocate now. We'll talk to Fifi to find out about the last panelist. Advocate KB Morota, please ascend the stage there. Thank you so much. All right. Apparently, I'm going to have to do it from here. Yes.
so I have the key with me.
Okay. All right, colleagues. If you are driving a car, registration YNH 179 GP, you lost your keys. We have them here. YNH 179 GP. If you drive that car, we have your key here. You can approach us. We'll be able to give them to you. Okay, colleagues. Let's start with our panel discussion. On the panel, we have a wide array in terms of representation of our society in South Africa. Mr. Dada, I'm going to be starting with you. You spoke earlier about the true definition of black economic empowerment, not what people are actually misconceiving about what BE is. But when we check the numbers, it said that between 1996 and 2013, BE only managed to transform economy by 3%. What is the problem?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Program Director. We need to look at the figures correctly. So you've got the aggregate figures in terms of the JSE,
yes,
which is at 3%,
yes,
right? But if you look at what BE did, that's why I say it's important to then say, if you are to bring people into the JSE, you need at least a 10 to 20 years horizon in them being capacitated. If you look at the guys that played around 96, they started being managers around 1980 or so. So your Dr. Ruel Kozas, your Ntate Fanititi, all those, they started at that aspect. So in 2000, when you see a person like Fanititi joining Investec board, it's because of that trajectory. Now, it will take a solid 20 years to train someone to get into the listed space, which is the 3%. But if you look at the people that came into the informal space, there's a lot of them. Yes, if you look at the population of black people in South Africa, you're looking at 90%. But if you were to check today, you're sitting at close to about 30% of people that are now economically active. You still have a higher number of our people in the townships that we have not created the bridge for them. Now, MEC mentioned something quite important, was to say, there's a lot of skills development that's happening. Now, the question that we must always ask is, are the kind of skills that we are giving our people necessary for the economy that we're trying to run? So if today we say, let's shut down coal plants for renewables, how many black professionals today can wake up and run these renewable plants? If tomorrow, Treasury in February at the budget speech said, let's turn the roofs and do retrofitting by households, how many black people play in that space? So sometimes in South Africa we create policy that tends to benefit people from outside in terms of people that we have in the country. So whenever we have to create a policy in South Africa, hence one of the things we've done as BMF as thought leaders, I know many people say we've got excellent policies. We said no. Excellent policies are those that you can implement. If you own a business and you've got a strategy, if your strategy does not create a profit formula as well as revenue, it's a bad strategy. So the entire policies we have in South Africa, if they don't help us to solve unemployment, inequality and all, then they are bad policies. Then we must go back and say what policies can actually help.
And just to chip in there, we hear it a lot, that we have beautiful policies in South Africa, but they are not implemented. But the final question that I'm going to ask you, I'm going to come back again to you, is that initially it was black economic empowerment, and at some point they added a B. Why?
The initial black economic empowerment, colleagues, this is what happened. It's also recognized white women as historically disadvantaged persons to ride the BE wavelength. The amendment of broad-based was simply also to create designated groups, like the youth and women, but also to remove white women as a category of people that must benefit from BE. Two, one of the things we also needed to clarify in BE is the issue of foreign nationals. You only participate in BE if you were born in South Africa or you were in South Africa before 1993.
Now, what does that mean? It means even in higher education, and we've spoken with the Employment Equity Commission to say, even management positions in higher education, you cannot find a situation where majority of foreign nationals are considered black, because by the definition of the law, they should not be occupying those positions. Those positions were meant to affirm black academics in those spaces. The same way as in corporate, one of the fights we are having today with MTN. MTN was trying to say, due to the skills challenge, can we bring our people from across the continent? We said no, because BE law simply says, let's try to solve our domestic problems first, before we then allow everyone to come in. It's similar to what China did. China does not allow certain companies into China, so that they allow Chinese companies to operate. Facebook is not in China. Uber is not in China, they use Didi. So one of the things we have not done boldly enough in South Africa is to simply say, how do you mobilize local investment? How do you protect the industries that you want to develop? I will leave you guys with this thing. If tomorrow we decide to implement renewables, how have we decided in terms of transformation of that sector? The other sectors, the reason why we have 30% in construction, 25% in generic sectors was because these were established sectors. Now you've got a new sector that comes in this dispensation of democracy. It should be equitable. Our government is quiet about that, to say, and we were clear as the BMF to say, we're looking at 80% ownership by black people. It's fine, bring the renewables, invest the money, US, but the ownership of this must be owned by us. Otherwise, it undermines our own sovereignty. You've seen with the sanctions, you've seen with everything that happened to China. One day you decide not to play by the line, they will shut down your entire power system from outside the country.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. By the way, I'm still going to come back to you with regards to one of the elements of the BEE is enterprise and supply development. Because I know as BMF, you speak a lot in terms of employment equity, but I need to pick your brain on enterprise and supply development, because when you look at the Free State as a province, I mean, if you calculate the number of companies that we are having here, you have like a sizable amount of money that can support emerging enterprises. But I'm going to come back to you. Now I'm going to take you, Advocate. Are you ready?
Very well.
Thank you. Let's talk about, Mr. Msebenzi spoke a lot about the contribution of professionals, to our economy. I read earlier, and then I'm going to come back to you, say that the number says that out of more than 50,000 chartered accountants in the country, I think only about 7,000 are actually black. And in your field, I know your field is actually under scrutiny now with regards, like maybe you are what is the political word? You are infiltrated, when you look at the number of judgments that are actually coming through. Speak to us particularly around your legal sector and the contribution of you as professionals in the block in that sector.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I'm not.
Yes, are you audible?
I think I'll be. Yes. Thanks very much, facilitator, and good evening to everyone. Of course, beside the legal profession,
yes.
I come from the organization called Black Forum South Africa.
Yes.
If there is AfriForum, then there could be Black Forum.
Yes.
So we are trading into truth business. We tell the truth, we contest white privilege.
Yes.
We try to bring about black solidarity and prosperity beyond political party lines. So we realize that a lot of black professionals, the black bodies we see, they are modern slaves chained in suits, beautiful suits and beautiful high heels.
Yes.
But when you analyze them, they are one day away from poverty. You take her employment from Absa Bank, she'll look like the hope she passes every day when she goes to work.
Yes.
So black professionals in this country are carrying this country on their shoulders because they are overtaxed. And they don't speak because they know that they are vulnerable.
Yes.
They are thinking about their bonds. They are thinking about the private schools where they are taking their children. Therefore, they've accepted their suffering. And remember, even at the workplace, in corporate space, in corporate sector, there are no trade unions representing them. No one is intervening on behalf of black professionals. That is why Black Forum South Africa says, when you are in trouble, you don't have to go into your little pocket to protect and affirm your rights.
Yes.
We are going to intervene on your behalf. You talk about chartered accountancy profession in this country. The accountancy profession in this country is run by a white NGO called SAICA. SAICA is a mere white NGO which has a huge hegemony within the entire accountancy profession in this country. That is why you will have over 50,000 white chartered accountants and vis-a-vis 20,000 black chartered accountants, and black in a generic term, including colors and Indians. There are only 20,000 in this black country. We know they doctor the results. We know that when you're a black person, you transgress as an accountant, they penalize you heavily. So as Black Forum, we even went to the SAICA offices to say, the nonsense that you are doing to suffocate black professionals within this profession will be contested. That's why they started to that is the work that you have done in the account.
Sorry to interject, Advocate. By the way, when you said thank you very much, I knew where you're coming from, because I normally say that myself. You see, you have seen a couple of court, cases where AfriForum won. Where were you? I mean, there was a point where they contested I think it was a relief fund for the tourism sector.
Yeah, sure.
Because the minister said they're going to apply the BE quotas for that, and then they went to court and they won.
Yes.
I'm sure you have seen one recently where they won with regards to the state-owned companies. Because initially, they used to say that, look, don't apply BE before you look at value add. Where were you?
We were at the University of South Africa because we are just graduated from being UNISA Black Forum into being Black Forum South Africa.
Oh, you are new.
We realized that the work we have done at UNISA to cause irreparable damage on whiteness, on white supremacy, is what this country needs, but also on black violence. This country needed that because we tried to move away from, since '94, government agenda. Black people relied more on government agenda, and we neglected the black agenda. That is why today, 30 years down the line, into this, the so-called democracy, we still see black people in their majority still being at the receiving end. We still see politics is now business. Politicians are now into business. They do not have the interest of the black people at heart.
Thank you so much.
Plato, this Greek philosopher says, a public leader or a leader of a state must be a philosopher ruler, must be a lover of wisdom, therefore must be educated. We don't see that now in this country.
No, thank you so much. I will forgive you because you are saying that you are new. Colleagues, if you want to participate in the discussion, just come to me here, and then you can ask a question, or maybe if you agree with Mr. Dada, you can always come and disagree. Now, let's take Mr. Lee Busho. You are Chief Executive Officer of the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm getting it right? Because, I always add youth, somewhere, look, And colleagues and comrades, I'm requested here by Mekamu to apologize for my panel to be all male. And then, do you know why it's all male, the panel? Yeah, because, no, I can't tell you that. I still want peace, so I won't tell you that. I don't know where the light's gone, and he left with Mr. Lebusho either. Okay, Mr. Lebusho, we are a Free State, the province that we are in here, and I know MEC is next to me, can actually assist me with the numbers here. We used to contribute about 5% to the national GDP, and then COVID came, we dropped, I think, to about 4.7, 4.8, somewhere around there. And when you also look at our provincial GDP, the GDP of the Free State was still below zero. Somebody said, I said the economy is growing at 0%. All right, it's oxymoron. Something that is zero is not growing. So we are on negative growth, MEC. As a chamber here, what is your view regarding economic growth in the province? Are you able to sleep with the economy that is like this?
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I'm audible enough.
Yes, the speaker.
Am I audible enough? Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Lady Sidiso. The reason I just left that chair there, I would like to call one woman. I don't know. Messi Piso says she doesn't want to come because I said I was going to call her.
No, that is the reason why they are not here. That is why they are not here.
And I know, I mean, it's not a secret. Anybody that knows me and knows you knows that we come a long way. And we are all about women empowerment. So I just thought maybe we must call in one woman. Because I wasn't going to allow that to happen. Because now it's a boys' choir type of thing. Kibona Melorato maybe might come. Because I'm not going to allow that to happen, that is city, so that we are all men here in this platform. Like, no way, it's wrong. No, it's wrong. It's wrong, man. Medichabe.
Okay, any volunteer?
No, I know MEC. MEC has done her work, so I'm not going to allow that. Melorato, please. Just a quick one. Please.
And I continue.
The next thing, they cover blame also. Like, I mean, it's just a space for one. So, like, you know, ladies and gentlemen, Melorato. Then I can listen to your question properly, my brother.
Thank you. Before you go, colleagues, let's apologize first of all for our panel to be all male. The organizations that we called to be on the panel, they are all led by males. And we didn't make a recommendation to say we need a woman on the panel. Or maybe organization wanted to present their leaders, and then we really apologize for that. Also, you are not a compromise. We know you are good at what you do.
Yes, sir.
And then we're talking about the provincial economy in the Free State. Because just to add a bit on it, everybody is concerned in the Free State about youth unemployment. We are fast reaching 70% of young people that are not working. So I was asking about the contribution of the Free State as a province to the national GDP. Talking about business in the Free State and the contribution to the economy. Can you help us here? Can you hire people or something like that?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tade Sidiso, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. For those that don't know me, my name is K. Busho, the newly appointed CEO for the Free State Chamber. I almost said the Youth Chamber of Commerce and Industry, but it's the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry because, I mean, we've been in the game for some time. You asked a question earlier that, do I sleep at night? As a matter of fact, just earlier this morning, I can even show conversations around 4 a.m. I was talking with our founding president, Mimi Jacobs, you know, about what is it that we are doing as an organization to make sure that we keep, you know, this unemployment thing that is happening in the Free State, particularly for the young people, you know. So obviously the biggest challenge right now that the city is it's skills development and training. You know, we've seen that most of our people, as much as most young people, do have qualifications, but most young people are not skilled enough to get into the workplace. That's why we believe that one of the biggest, you know, challenges we have is skills development for our young people. Now, what we need to do also as the province, what we have partnered with as Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry is that we've partnered with international organizations to make sure that they bring in skills in our province that can actually empower our young people, particularly women, that can make sure that they get to, you know, take their skills to the next level so that they contribute into the economy. Because I think most organizations, especially when we get into wanting to partner with government, one of the biggest challenges, like we always go to government and ask for, you know, partnership in terms of financial contribution. But I can tell you for a fact, right now, since we've been formed, we haven't asked government for anything because we've noticed that there's actually more opportunities outside the province, outside the country, and especially international, that can actually empower our young people, especially women, that can make an enormous amount of contribution to the province and make a difference in our province. So that's what we're doing. We're partnering with international
organizations to make sure that our people are empowered and they are able to bring in skills into the province that can make a difference into other young people's lives, and we can make a difference in our community.
I love when you say young people. You are going to take a long time to move away from youth. We are 40 years, so no longer youth. Okay, let me check colleagues in the room. Do you have employers in the room? Please raise your hands. Anybody that is employing 1, 2, 3 people?
Yes.
Yes,
Please
employers
raise your
in the room.
hands.
Do we have employers in the room?
Koti, hands.
Okay. The reason why, Mr. Bush, I'm asking this is that MEC, before you can employ other people, we need to employ yourself first.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
when you start your business.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to talk about enterprise development as a concept. Either directly as a BE concept, we'll talk to TeamzDynamics Services about it, or just for businesses to be supported, because a lot of people are complaining to say, in the Free State, I mean, you saw during COVID, all the DFIs were quiet.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it was only SIFA that was talking, and then they were quiet with money. You know, so we are going to engage that. Thank you, Mr. Bush. Now we are going to come to Mr. Karedi. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, can you say hello?
I am here, sir.
All right. Thank you. Well, you are still a professional, right? Yes, and my business partner, Olivia, used to say that a lot of students were actually either getting badly stressed and depressed, or some of them were actually suffering from headache. Is accounting difficult?
No, sir. Accounting is what you do on the left, you do on the right.
Yes. Yeah, they normally say that a lot. What you do here, what you do there. Yes.
So I'd firstly like to...
Fresh. Sorry, Mr. Mkwane, just a bit. Can we fix the mic?
Oh, no, now I am audible. No, thank you, Mr. Tina. And I think I'd firstly like to also introduce myself first. I am Karedi Mkwane, currently the chairperson of ABASA, which is an association for the advancement of black accountants in Southern Africa. So to answer your question, is accounting difficult? No. What you do on the left, you do on the right. So I think what may be difficult is just balancing things.
Yes.
Back in my varsity days, I think I graduated without even balancing my statement of financial position.
Yeah.
But here I am. So I know you haven't actually asked the question yet, but I think I would like to contribute to what the advocate was saying earlier regarding the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. And it is a concern that we've got, I think it's actually 8,000 of black CAs in comparison to the total that is 50.
Yeah.
And as ABASA, what we've done is we have engaged them on a national level. So we do have a number of seats at the SAICA Council that are allocated to ABASA where we address, firstly, the gap that is still there, and secondly, the issues within the profession itself that involves the firms. What are the programs that the firms are implementing in order to help black, aspiring black CAs? And we also sit at regional councils. For instance, the SAICA Council just close to the UFS there. We also have seats where we engage them on this number on this number of issues. And having said that, it is still again going to take time. I think what that alluded to earlier. Implementation of such programs will take time, but gradually there will be results that are there. We engage the CEO Freeman Nomvalo on the results, which are, again, even this year, they are still not inspiring. But what is more important is for the firms themselves, which we are also engaging, to implement proper programs to assist the aspiring CAs in order to obtain the qualifications. So what we've done as ABASA in partnership with the UFS, then we have a program that we get the experienced CAs. I'll talk CAs now because we are more on the chartered accountants
it's okay.
here,
It's okay.
where we have now designed a program of experienced CAs that are actually allocated firstly at student level to assist them in passing their CTAs. And then also in the workplace, then you'll have a coach that also allows you to, that actually guides you on what you need to do.
And I just want to ask, out of this 8,000, do you maybe as Abasa know how many of those CAs are business people and how many are working in
Yes.
corporate?
Yes. To answer your question, so what we do as Abasa is we've got an Abasa Business Forum that actually invites all the registered CAs that are in entrepreneurship to actually be part of that program. And then we engage again. And this is, again, it will take time, where we've got the platforms to engage the firms again. Listen, if you are to be appointed by Dati Tinani to provide auditing services, can you not subcontract a black entrepreneur? And so far what has happened and what has been done successfully is a program run by the AGSA, whereby if you've got a Big Four firm that's going to assist with the Auditor General work, then they will have to subcontract that work to a black firm, so that they can also transfer skills.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mkwane. Colleagues, I just want to ask, do you have any question, maybe comments? Unless, of course, my bar contributed immensely to your contribution today. Colleagues, we have Melirato. In most of the cases, we are told that, I don't know, maybe women in the room can assist, that whatever you touch as women, you mess up. That is why you are not given a chance. I'm kidding. Okay, let's talk to, I remember, Ndadamufujen, you'll assist. You remember there was a point where government supported a company, it was a women-owned company, was it Whiphold, you remember, in the early days? And then they were operating in the agriculture space and construction, I think. Seated here as a woman in the Free State province, because, you know, the beauty about our rules and, regulations is that they will cater for youth, they will cater for women. Wawana males, we have nothing here. What do you think should be done at the provincial level to increase participation of women? Let me be biased to business right now, to promote a number of women that are actually operating in business. Before I come to, let me see, do we have women employers in the room, colleagues? Raise your hands, let me see. Women that are employing people? No. Do you have employees in your business? Okay, beautiful. I just wanted to be sure. What do you think should be done to increase the number of women to participate in the economy?
And you are wrong. I had to get from down there for me to get up here.
Yes.
You said something that was very important.
Yes.
You said all of the organizations that we invited are led by men.
Males, yes.
And this is why we have a panel that is full of men.
Yes.
Because access, and I want to extend your question to issues of access, because women have to first create before they find a platform for access. Hello. KB Elias said that there are training issues. I think you raised issues
Skills
of
development,
There's women who are trained, who are skilled, who are capacitated, who are able in this province. But I think we also have come as women, and I speak for myself as a woman, I think we also have arrived at a point where we are so challenged, you are not sure which door to knock at. And that becomes a challenging thing. As capacitated as I am, as skilled as I am, as knowledgeable as I am, as great in my own profession as I am. And that is a particular challenge because do I go to MEC because she's a woman? And why can I not go to anybody who has the ability to assist me because they have that capacity, and I have it too. So I am able to then offer them my skill more than anything else. I should not bargain for me to be able to participate in the economy of this province. It should be easy. And I'm saying easy because it's work. You said, they say anything that women touch gets messed up, but it is women who feed families. We're running the financial literacy program with the Office of the MEC currently. And one of the issues that we were addressing is how it should be okay for single moms to participate in the economy because they run households. And I think at times when we speak about the economy of the province, of the city, of the country, we complicate it so much. But it's bread and butter issues. It's simple bread and butter issues. It's feeding families. It's creating opportunities for another sister. It is the ability to understand that when a woman is capacitated and she's able to participate and she has access, then she is feeding multiple other mouths, not just herself.
But just there, I'm touched by what you are saying. I mean, we know you are challenged. I mean, gender-based violence is there, domestic violence. There are so many things that are actually happening to you before you can get. Because I was attracted by the word access. Are we saying that, particularly in the Free State province, I want to be biased to this province. Are you saying that in the province, you don't have a lot of women that are actually gaining access to opportunities, maybe both in the private and the public sector?
Simple, yes.
Does that happen now in 2023?
Yes. Yes.
But why are you able to get marriage? Correct. You have access to marriage.
And you see, I'm glad that I was just about to jump, but